Uganda is in total chaos. I mean, honestly, as a judge in this country, I even had to make my own segment on Simply Legal. Hey everyone, welcome back to Simply Legal. Inside this particular segment is Justice Terry's courtroom. And in my courtroom, I'm here to tell you exactly what I think about what's happening all over our country. Now, we have different issues that have been happening just in a space of about 2 weeks. I'm going to discuss 2 issues in my courtroom, and they're going to be very pertinent issues in today's society in Uganda that everyone should know about. Number 1, I'm going to discuss the issue of Chameleon and Weasel. We commonly know them as the Mayanja brothers, but in this case, what they did in the so-called Gwanga Muje concert that I saw on Saturday, I literally witnessed these 2 brothers who are popular sensations in Uganda. They have been singing for years, kissing on stage. You can imagine 2 brothers, 2 grown men who are fathers and heads of families kissing on stage. Number 2, I'm going to discuss a controversial issue of the stealing of iron sheets that were supposed to go to Karamoja district. So, welcome to Terry's courtroom, and let's start right away. Welcome all the viewers of Simply Legal to Inside Justice Terry's courtroom. And inside Justice Terry's courtroom, I have set different laws and guidelines for how my courtroom is going to be conducted. First of all, there are no objections in my courtroom. I know the law is supposed to be fair and just, but inside my courtroom, I discuss issues of law, ethics, justice, and the like. But in particular, I discuss pertinent issues all over Uganda and just all over the globe, but mainly concerning Uganda. Let's go to the first issue. Number 1. The Mayanja brothers. From when I was a very young child, I'll not mention my age since I'm a judge, I listened to Jose Chameleon's songs. I listened to Weasel's songs. AK-47, the entire Mayanja clan, they are such talented artists. And just as I was going for the Gwanga Muje concert, Reloaded, my friend just sent me a picture of Chameleon kissing his brother Weasel. Now, that just broke my heart because I looked up to these men. I looked up to them and I knew that they were promoting Uganda as a whole, Uganda as a product. Because in Uganda we have buy Uganda, build Uganda. So I was buying their content, I was building their content. However, let's go the legal side of it. What are the legal implications of Chameleon kissing Weasel? I'm sure you've seen this all over social media. It has been trending. In that, we already have one Pastor Semper, who is one of the most prominent pastors in Uganda, who has already filed a lawsuit in court and has filed a police case against Chameleon and Weasel. Now, much as Chameleon has come out to publicly apologize to the public has not taken this lightly. Let's go back to the history. Since common law came into Uganda, we have had one major law which has banned homosexuality in Uganda. It doesn't necessarily stipulate that homosexuality is illegal. However, it talks about the fact that acts of unnatural sexual conduct are illegal in Uganda. We have that being Section 145 of the Penal Code Act of Uganda, Cap 120. It states that anyone who engages in unnatural sexual acts, also, it goes inside there to state people of same sex are going to be taken to prison for life imprisonment. It used to be the death penalty, but because of our loving president, we have it that's now life imprisonment. And because of public scrutiny from all over the Western world, it was reduced from the death penalty. Now, this may not necessarily apply to the Mayanja brothers. However, this means that they can be targets for lawsuits and public scrutiny. Now, is Pastor Semper, is he well within his right to lodge a lawsuit? Yes, he is. Because we have codes and ethics of conduct in Uganda. Much as there is a law that's backing it up, there is no like clear-cut law that has always been talking about how homosexuals are going to be treated in Uganda. Now, many times there was an anti-homosexuality bill that was supposed to be passed in December of 2013. Now, January 2014, yes, the President of the Republic of Uganda, President Museveni, signed the anti-homosexuality bill, but later on, the Constitutional Court made this anti-homosexuality bill null and void. The reason was because the Constitutional Court at that time said that the bill did not have enough quorum for it to have been made into an act. So meaning that it could not have been made from the anti-homosexuality bill to anti-homosexuality act. Now, I've talked about this segment on Legal News Daily about the anti-homosexuality act, or the bills that were supposed to be made into an act. However, I think currently, because of the Mayanja brothers and because of Weasel's conduct with Chameleon kissing on stage, our very own Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has now, currently as we speak, 1st of March 2023, has now moved Parliament to all raise their hands and to vote to state that everyone who is against homosexuality, please raise up your hand. They are now moving to parliament, trying to move the anti-homosexuality bill to come back into parliament and then to make it an act. Now, the moment this has been made into an act and they convince the president to sign this act to make it an actual law, then that means homosexuality is going to be a crime in Uganda, and it's going to be punishable by very, very serious crimes and very, very serious offenses. Now, what would be the implication of this? Definitely the Western world is pro-homosexuality. They call this a human right, and I've reiterated many times, I'm a judge, and I concur with many videos that my co-counsel, Counsel Terry Kahuma, has talked about so many times concerning homosexuality. Our stance as judges is to provide principles of natural justice and provide fairness. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with homosexuals. Whatever they do behind closed doors, that's up to them. The only problem is to impose it on African countries and to make it seem like it's normal for them to also accept it in Uganda. Now, there have always been strings pulling back and forth between the Ugandan government and the Western world concerning homosexuality, in that by 2014, they wanted to cut aid. Countries like Denmark, the United States, Netherlands wanted to cut off aid because we had at some point moved the anti-homosexuality bill in Uganda. Now, back to the Mayanja brothers. Personally, I don't think that was right what they did. That was basically provoking the law to come and take an iron fist onto them. I think the move that Pastor Sempa made to take these brothers to court was a bit rushed. He was well within his right, because any natural person can sue other people if they believe that these people have committed a crime. Now, can Pastor Sempa enforce Section 145 of the Penal Code Act Cap 120? Let's just wait and see what's going to happen later on. But most importantly, is Parliament going to pass the Anti-Homosexuality Act? Is what the Mayanja brothers did cause enough to finally put the Anti-Homosexuality Act into place? Let's just find out and wait for what Parliament is going to say. But personally, I think the Anti-Homosexuality Act will pass. And in Uganda, we might actually see the minority group, which is a lesbian, gay, bi, and transgender group, zeroing down, and they might be persecuted, because in Africa, it's believed that we do not love homosexuality in Uganda. Sorry, Western world. Now that is basically done, let us go to the final issue of today. We look at the iron sheets that were stolen or that were misused. These iron sheets were meant for homes in Karamoja. They're meant for a different project in Karamoja. Now, the Minister Kitutu took these iron sheets and put them in to basically furnish his kraal of cattle. Now, a kraal for cattle is a house that's normally meant for cows to eat, for cows to drink. They're normally those troughs for the cows to drink and to do all of the activities. Now, to get iron sheets, which were procured by government, which were bought by government, passed through all the procurement process that government had to do to buy and manufacture these iron sheets, which were meant for Karamoja, the most poverty-stricken district in Uganda, and then put them in someone's personal kraal. I don't think that is right. He was exposed in all of the Ugandan media and tabloids. He was exposed in Daily Monitor, in New Vision. Personally, as a judge, all of these newspapers passed by my chambers. And when I read them and I just look through and then I start seeing nonsensical things like that, today I agreed with what Anita Among did and all of the different members of parliament. They actually forced these people to resign their seats and for them to pay for their crimes. Now, I personally agree with what members of parliament did and the Speaker of Parliament. These people need to be brought to justice. When you're a person who is put in office, you need to be accountable for your constituency. If you're a member of parliament, you need to be accountable for your ministry. If resources are meant for let's say Karamoja or maybe Ministry of Fisheries, and then you divert them to another cause, then that is totally wrong. Now, you may be asking, what is the legal crime or what are the legal implications of him transferring the iron sheets from Ministry of Karamoja or from Karamoja district to his personal endeavors? We have mismanagement of office, and this can also be seen as corruption. So misuse and mismanagement of office is stipulated under the Anti-Corruption Act of Uganda and also the Penal Code Act of Uganda. These are basically crimes. So we have seen different people going to jail for mismanagement of funds, mismanagement of office, people like Kazinda of public service. Then we also have David Jamwa of NSSF. All these people were taken to court and then later on are currently serving their sentences because of what they did in their offices. They mismanaged offices, and basically we're also seeing it in institutions like NSSF. We saw that the current or the former executive director, Richard Byarugaba, has been sent out of NSSF and is now facing PAC, which is Public Accounts Committee. So basically in Uganda, we are left in, as a judge, honestly, if these cases were to come to my court, I don't even know how I would judge them, because they concern issues of morality, they concern issues of ethics, they concern issues of integrity, and most importantly, must we now have laws in place to protect our young people? Because many times young boys have come out, especially from my very own former school, King's College, Budo. It was such a disgrace that we have these small acts in these traditional schools like Kisubi, like King's College, Budo, like Namilyango, and the likes. So please, as Africans, we do not really accept homosexuality because it has diverse effects on the human body. It was not really meant for that. So if it's being imposed on a country which clearly has its stands, then please, it's better we put these laws in place and protect our country. As for the Western world, I'm not really against homosexuality. I'm just going at the fact that if someone or if a country has clearly stipulated its laws and traditions, let's not try and enforce them through NGOs or through sketchy aids which are going to promote that which Uganda does not stand for. So let's just see how things in Parliament are going to unfold. I'll leave you these questions with you. Will the Anti-Homosexuality Act pass after today, or will it remain a bill? Will it be signed by the president? Secondly, with these iron sheets, are they going to be removed from the minister's kraal, and are they going to be taken back to the project that was meant for it to be taken to? I remain yours truly, Justice Terry Kahuma, and I'm glad that you've joined me inside Justice Terry Kahuma's courtroom. I remain yours truly, and I'll always judge cases in the most free and fair way, promote fairness and justice in Uganda. Until next time, see you.